you doing?
I am doing well.
Greetings to our residents.
Nice to have you on the line this morning. First, congratulations to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let me start first by saying, and I'm sure because you did head the 2020 campaign team, right?
Yes, yes.
Now you have been given the task of heading the NDC Flagbearers campaign team. You have done the earlier one. What's the difference there?
Yes, we are going to this election under different conditions. And different conditions will demand different strategies. If you recall, 2020, around this time, we had the COVID. And we all need to stay indoors. So whilst we obey the rules, if you do a little bit of research, you remember that the government machinery was working. And they were also campaigning that we stay indoors. They were sharing free food. It is believed they collected some $3 billion from the IMF in shares for the purpose of the campaign. And we were released to now campaign somewhere in July. So now we have to regroup and start planning strategies and plans towards the 2020 election. So we're trying some few ways to do our work. Now, getting into elections as we move around the country, they had an unfortunate news about the demise of our family father. We have to bring for about 1 week and then continue the campaign. When there's no fire in Obuasi, we have to fill the campaign in trouble. So it was just on and off. You also remember that during the registration exercise, they tried to suppress our strongholds. And in the name that the person to the NDC, sometimes they say it's not a Ghanaian or it's not a Ghanaian. But before this, remember, we worked very hard forward and were able to pull them down from 169 to 137 parliamentary seats. Reduce the gap of the previous election from about 1 million to about 500,000. Now, this time around, these conditions are over there. We started work already and the ground putting everything in place. And we are going to come out of a new plan towards it. And we are very confident that at the end of it, we will win this election. We are going to win this election, but we have to win with hard work. And that is exactly what we are going to do.
Well, did you know you were going to be announced that the Flagbearers campaign head?
Back in 2020, I was the presidential campaign manager for the Flagbearer. In his own practice, I was his campaign manager. And for me, this is something like a vote of confidence in me from the Flagbearer to make me again his campaign manager for the 2024 election. I thank him and assure him that it will be a very, we shall let him do a very good work. We are going to form a very strong team for the Flagbearer. And at the end of it, everything will go on very well. As to whether I knew or not, well, I must say, once I worked for him as a campaign manager, maybe the list that he had, my name was inside. We still believe that I did a very good job with him, and we shall continue to do that.
In fact, I spoke to the man who deputized for you in 2020, Mr. Alabi, who now heads the Ranimis campaign team, and he calls it unfinished business. Does it feel like that for you too?
Of course, yes. We are supposed to put the party and the Flagbearer as a seat of government. And once that we didn't get that last time, the business is still on and we have to finish it.
And I'm wondering, if it is unfinished business, what are the lessons that will guide you from 2020 this time around?
Like I said earlier, there are different circumstances, and we have to now look at the prevailing circumstances. We're going to look at the critical control points very well and make sure that at every stage of the point we will monitor everything that's going on. If you observe this year's registration exercise, our director of election IT has been very, very, very what we call strong on the field, working very hard. It's one of the critical control points, and we know that we control that. That's a very good department that we have. And we on our part need to look at the way we handle the whole field operations last year. We will be getting closer to the people with something called door-to-door that was introduced in 2006. We will be doing more of that. And I assure you that you will enjoy the campaign. It's going to be a campaign of issues and not insults. We pass a stage where insults attract people, and we go to very distant on the field.
So we see a lot of door-to-door campaign this year.
There will be a lot of door-to-door campaign. We have to get close to people. The fact of the matter is that people know our Flagbearer, know what he has done and what he's capable of doing, and we just need to go to them to really recognize the relationship, the friendship between our Flagbearer and the communities. And once in a while, you see some big groups like Sammy rallies, where I see more of door-to-door.
And I'm also wondering, because you've done this before, from where does your job start and when does it end? Because there are those who have the opinion that for somebody who is leading a campaign, your job is to sell the candidates. Once you are done selling the candidate, what happens to the votes is with the party. Is that the way it works?
Yeah, we are going to sell the candidate, yes, but we said go around the whole country, position him before the electorate. The pattern figure of every, what we call it, is the mind of the consumer. In this case, the consumer, the electorate as a consumer. So we're going to do serious work on that, on our messaging, which is very key. And when it comes to the main election, we have a director of action, election and IT. So we'll see to it that we'll get the type of agents that we need. Of course, we'll be having meetings with the data once in a while, but the field, that particular work is, and that was exactly what we did last election too. We have a director of IT who is responsible for the election. Yes.
But there are also those who suggest that your job should be easier for you this year. Ghanaians are angry, and everybody, most of them, has come to the conclusion that after assessing what has been done by Akufo-Addo within 7 to 8 years and what was done by former President John Dramani Mahama, if you put the two together, you are definitely arrive at the conclusion that former President Mahama should be your obvious choice. So you don't need to do a lot in terms of campaign. What you need to focus on is protecting the votes. Have you heard that? What's your response to that?
Well, I've also heard of that, but there will be no complacency. I've said somewhere some time ago that if you have a property or you have something and you don't protect it, the excuse to use the word, the thief will come for it. So whatever it is, even if we have the election today and it's clear that we are winning, what I do is that we still have to work to protect it, and that's exactly what we want to do. We are going to work to protect the votes and get the Flagbearer at the seat of government and give ourselves.
Would it be a difficult task for you?
No task is easy. No task is easy. I worked all my life. I was a student leader. It was a difficult task. I was a member of parliament. It was a difficult task. I was a minister of state. It was a difficult task. And I was a member of GFA responsible for the Black Stars. It was a difficult task. And I was a vice chancellor. It was a difficult task. I don't see it as easy, and I see this also to be difficult. But of course, with my God and the team, we shall say to you.
What should the average NDC person expect from you, and what do you expect from them?
Well, what they expect from us, we're going to have a very decent campaign. We're going to get closer to them, and we'll make sure that the plans we draw for the campaign will be a plan that we shall collectively hold through communication. So before we move out to do anything, yes, our people will have to know. And there are times that we also let feedback from them. And we shall assure them that we will protect our good for the nation. Everything well protected. The Director of Election has done a lot of work on it. He's also doing work on that. And they should just mobilize and come out to vote. And we are duty as a party under the work of the Director of Election to ensure that the votes are protected. And we are going to assure we are going to win this election.
Prof, I keep hearing you saying we shall have a decent campaign. Decent campaign. Explain that to us, because for a lot of people,
the campaign is going to be scientific, evidence-based, targeted at the people, the right people. So if I say decent campaign, we are going to look at the type of basics that will be rolled out. And like I said earlier, it's not going to be a campaign of insults. Some people believe in insults, we don't believe in that. We are going to communicate to our people. That's what I started by saying that it's going to be very scientific evidence.
In the last campaign, you were named head. There was a vice. There was a deputy to you. There were other people that were named as part of the presidential campaign team. This time around, you are the only person named as the head. Then you have one spokesperson, a deputy spokesperson, and that's all. Does that mean that only the three of you work on the presidential campaign? What's your understanding of how the arrangement is supposed to work?
As a presidential campaign manager, currently from what was released, we have two deputies, but we have backstage people who are going to work a lot. And I'm also going to form a strong team, which will include volunteers, will include IT officers and everything, intelligence officers. They will be giving me a lot of information as we move in and out of the field. So it's the list presented, yes, as the presidential campaign manager to spokesperson. There will be more people who will also be assigned on other roles under me. I'm going to make sure that we get very, very, very committed and qualified people who are ready to work to assist me to achieve the task ahead of me.
For a moment, I wanted to ask about your working relationship with the Flagbearer. But the fact that you've been named twice talks a lot about how far, what the relationship between the two of you, how strong it is. Is it a foregone conclusion that the two of you still share that strong bond that was always talked about, that it goes back way into the days in Tamale, among others?
You know, I'm not the father, not because he was a president. And I'm not like him, not because he was a president. In life, people come into your life when you move in a very strong position. And it makes it very difficult for you to know who is a genuine friend and who is not in life. But when you start from some childhood and you that and you know each other, you have respected each other, you have loved each other, and you know your qualities, and it brings the bond together. There are people who were friends from childhood and they are no more friends. It's there. But when friendship is some respect, love, and last. And I think that we share that. Yes, so far from Sabali, yes, those good old days, good old days, yes. Yeah.
Oh, please, when do you start work?
Well, I've started work already. Yesterday when I'm done, people started coming to me. We had a series of meetings and how to plan the whole thing. And that's part of it. Very soon we shall roll out campaign the move to the field.
Let me conclude then by drawing our attention to something that has attracted, in fact, a lot of NDC people talk about this. That the MPP people famously say that they will win this election based on strategy.
Yeah.
Have you heard that?
I've heard that.
And how do you combat that? Do you even have an idea what that strategy is and how you intend to combat that?
They use the word, they say strategy. As the work already goes, we have a strategy. Everybody in life who has a strategy. So if they use the word strategy, maybe to somebody who don't understand what we call it English, because they say strategy. They say strategy. But strategy is just a word. You understand? Do you think that as we move into this section, we also don't have a strategy? So, let the words flow over there. And it's not a matter of we doing exactly what they want to do, but it's a matter of which also defining what exactly we want to do to this election. We have different types of strategies, but I want to believe that the type of strategy they are referring to is the latent dimensions that people normally do, and that's why we are prepared to summon that one.
And the concluding part again, you said which dimension?
The latent dimension. Some people call it a weakness in football. If that's the strategy you're talking about, they just don't do anything about that. This time, we don't give it that opportunity.
You are ready to tackle any ways and means strategy that they have?
We are going to move into section with all the seriousness that it deserves. And of course, we know that every party participating in this section will have a strategy, including the MPP. And we also have our strategy. So even the word is strategy.
Prof, thank you very much for speaking to us. And once again, congratulations on the appointment. And of course, I believe that we'll be having subsequent conversations during the elections. But thank you, Prof.
Thank you to your and one of these days I'll come and pay a visit to you at the station, because I want you to partner me to do this work. You know very well that this country is moving in a very wrong direction. And whether you are MPP or not, I don't know your party, but if you are MPP, you should also know that we go to the market to buy, the bounty, you know the price. And election, for me, democracy is about welfare. And it's not about how to create football and one wins and great jubilee. It's about welfare. And if you go to market and you see that things are rising and you can't buy them, and you see that there's an alternative government coming into place, all you have to do is to support that government. We have to push government to perform. We don't have to pamper government. And I think that you enjoy me as a radio presenter, as a friend, and as a colleague to push this agenda of getting Excellency George Baba to the platform of some January 7th go through successfully.
Prof, it will be nice to host you. So we'll be waiting for that day.
Thank you very much.
Professor Joshua Alabi's head NDC Flagbearers campaign for 2024. Like I said, he was in charge of presidential campaign 2020, and we'll continue that work for this particular elections. Like you said, one of those days you may just see Prof right in front of me. We'll be having a conversation, a much more extended conversation on what will happen in the elections and some of the issues that perhaps will guide the decisions that people will make in the coming election. Taking us 52 minutes past 7. Lawyer, do some business for us. We'll go over the phone line and have a conversation with Professor Kobe Mensah shortly.
The lawyer, yes, oh, yeah, now what church but lawyer be a lawyer.
Animal rights.